Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. This is part two of the episodes we've been doing,
Mm-hmm.
which are, of course, our main star, Kamogelo Maponya.
Yes.
Okay,
sir.
okay.
She's back. She's ready to share more of her story. And we're just here to observe and listen.
Mm-hmm.
And should we get right into it?
We should. As we mentioned in the previous episode, this one will be focusing on the remainder of the pillars of identity section
Mm-hmm.
of our discussion. Now we're looking at relationships, culture, and society.
Mm-hmm.
So to get the ball rolling, really, let's talk about culture.
So I didn't really grow up very cultural. My family doesn't really practice culture.
Oh wow.
Because we're religious mostly.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay. Fair.
Culture's not that big
Oh huh.
of an identity thing for me. But because, you're around people who know their culture,
Mm.
you feel pressured to get to know your own. So
Mhm.
right now I'm on a journey of trying to get to know what my culture is about. But yeah, that's where I'd say not much about culture, yeah.
I like how you said it's because we're religious, and I find that even with, I think, for both of us, Q,
Mm-hmm.
there are elements of our family culture that are literally shaped by our religion,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I feel like religion has that effect of overpowering culture at times, but
Mhm.
also culture can have the effect of overpowering religion at times.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in this country. Especially.
Yeah, I've noticed that more
Mhm.
here than really anywhere else
Mm-hmm.
that I've been. Not that I'm well traveled, but
Mm.
that sounds so sad, bro.
Yeah.
Nice, I'm sorry.
The time's
guys.
coming, bro.
The time will come.
The time will
The
come.
time will come. But I mean, okay. At the very least, though, if we've talked about, you've mentioned how you want to learn about your culture because of your surroundings and
Yeah.
the significance that culture has in South Africa. If we maybe kind of like shift the focus to society and more so the community that you grew up in and your surroundings, do you want to can you tell us a little bit about like the values that they instilled upon you?
I think with my society, that's a tough one because my mom tried so hard for me not to be like within society. Not that she like bottled me up, but she tried to like tell me, hey, this is the practices of our home.
Mm-hmm.
So not so much following what the practices of other people are.
Mm.
But obviously you do interact with people. I think in terms of society, society is quite a hard one. But I think growing up as a girl, there's
Mhm.
certain pressures you face.
Mm.
Maybe trying to be better.
Okay.
Like you're forced to be better. You're forced to do
Mm.
much more because you're not at the same point as the
Mm.
guys
Mm.
around you. Proving yourself, like I said before, I think I tried to prove myself a lot. And also growing up as a girl, maybe like going back home as well. Like you kind of expected to be a certain person,
Mhm.
the homemaker in a way.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
taught, okay, girls are meant to, cook, clean. You hear these things growing
Mm.
up, not necessarily directly from my family, but from the community at large. It's like,
Okay.
oh, this is what a girl is meant to do, or this is how a girl is meant to behave in public.
Mhm.
Yeah, so to be honest, I took it in from a young age, like what they said a girl should be. I kind of took it in, but then my parents challenged me.
Oh
Like,
wow.
okay.
Okay.
You need to be much better than that because the girls around you, you're taught to aspire to like marriage, and that's the pinnacle of your success in a
Mhm.
way.
Mm.
Whereas with my parents, it was more you're meant to aspire to a career, be independent, do all of that stuff.
Mhm.
So maybe my parents shaped me more than society did, for sure. Society hasn't really played a huge part in how I grew up because of how strong a foundation my parents laid.
I think we were the same, bro.
Mm.
Just thinking about the conversations we have, I think that sums it up nicely.
Mm. I mean, I think it also matters how strongly knit the society might be around you and how strongly integrated your family is to that society.
Mm.
And I think what I've noticed with what you were saying is there's sort of like a divide between your family and the society and also the culture that you come from. But not necessarily like a negative divide, but more so like, you know, certain perspectives are different.
Mm.
And I feel like that might be what might have allowed for you to differ in that sense. Because you weren't your closest sources of information and guidance.
Was my family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's definitely, that really links into like the previous episode's discussion about family.
Mm.
And how family is so important in playing that role. But we've also looked at, for me and Q personally as well, in that discussion that we had about the 5 pillars, we touched on how influential relationships have been for us
Mm-hmm.
and how they've like guided us on our path.
Mm.
The work ethic that we have, a lot of the perspectives that we have, how we interact with people, and the decisions that we make have been strongly influenced by the friendships that we have, more specifically the meaningful ones. And I just wanted to like explore that side of your experience.
So friendship has played a very big part of my life.
Mhm.
Like, I'm a very social person. I love to make friends. I
Yeah.
love to talk. I love to get to know people. So friendships did play a really big part of my life. I think because I'm so social, I struggle to form meaningful friendships.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people, but I don't know people well. And I've struggled to like cross that barrier between, hi, how are you? How's course treating you? It's bad.
Wow.
Okay, that's kind of where the
Yeah.
friendship ends. Like, I just know you as a campus person
Wow.
rather than truly knowing you at the core.
Mm.
And it's something I've been struggling with like my whole life. Since being a child, I've just known a lot of people. And I'd say maybe in high school, started to break it down even more. Started to talk to people on a meaningful level.
Mm.
I was in boarding school, so I was kind of forced to have friends in hostel.
Okay.
Yeah, because hostel gets very lonely.
I can
You can't
imagine.
rely on family, bro.
You can't rely on family,
Mm.
so you need to find someone who's going to be your family.
Mm.
So hostel really pushed me to cross those barriers. And one of the first few friends I made, we connected so deeply. And I think it's a friendship I'd like to hold dear for life. Like, it's hard to get there because you need to be vulnerable.
Mm.
And that's hard on its own. You need to be willing to listen. That's another difficult thing. You need to let go of your expectations sometimes. And we all have expectations. We all expect something from the next person. But learning about meaningful and learning about the person even more, you have to let go of a lot. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, that has been it. I think in university.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little
Eesh.
a little touchy.
Too many options, bro. There's
There
too many
are,
options.
especially in first year, because you're always talking to someone new. There's someone in the class. There's someone you can interact with.
Mm.
But then it's like, okay, do you know me?
Wow.
Do I know you at the core? Do you know my struggles? Can you hold me accountable? Can I talk to you when life is crumbling before my eyes? Or are we just going to be the kind of friends we go out together and that's it? So yeah, that's friendship for me. It's like a double-edged sword. I don't know what to do. I don't know where I am in friendships like right now, even throughout my life. And I think it's also because I moved a lot.
No, yeah, that's also another important.
So when you
point.
move a lot, you don't get to stick to a friend for longer than 2 years or a year, and it just becomes surface level. Just
Nah, for
becomes
But
high
I-
by.
I've always found that like the moment you have like a when you set boundaries, when you know specifically like these are the traits that I'm looking for in a friend. Like the moment you have set boundaries, then it becomes like very easy to differentiate who's not my friend, who is my friend. And I feel like when you have those boundaries and you like because you welcome people who obviously fit within those boundaries.
Mm.
It's easier for you to open up because these are the people you expect to be around.
Yeah, yeah.
So
true.
I feel like if you keep letting people who sort of don't really fit within that boundary
Mhm.
into your life, it becomes very hard to know if you can open up.
That's true. I think it's also worth mentioning the frustration that can come from not finding those friends, but after having decided that you only want friends like that. Like when you decide, okay, I'm tired of the surface level friendships. I want my friendships to fulfill me. I want my friendships to add value to my life. I want the people that are around me to constantly be shaping who I am, but in the way that I believe is correct and I believe is right. You decide then and there that you only want those friendships, especially if all your life you've lived with like friendships that weren't like that. There's gonna be a period of time when you're really by yourself.
Loneliness. It's a very
Yeah.
it's a big deal because, okay, so I'll give you a mini story. Grade 9 into grade 10, I changed schools,
Yeah.
and when I changed schools, I had let go of the most meaningful friendships I had, and it created distance and created space. It created like we couldn't be as close because we couldn't relate on anything.
Okay.
anymore,
Yeah. I
right?
hear you.
And in my new school, I was alone, even though I was around people, but it just felt so lonely. And it's when I decided that I'm going to be friends with people who challenge me.
Okay.
That's when I found some sense of freedom. The friends I had from grade 10 onwards, they challenged me to be better. They had characteristics of people I aspired to be.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
That's.
you guys push me to the next level.
Mm.
You guys are the ones where I'm like, whoa, you guys are so great.
Yeah. There's like healthy competition there.
Yes. Oh, we competed for sure. Like
Yeah.
you could see it in how much we wanted each other to grow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the key point there. How much we wanted each other to grow.
I think that's what makes it healthy, bro. That's
It has to supplement growth. It has to supplement you in the direction that you're heading in.
Yeah. And you could see it in how we achieved as well.
Okay.
We felt joy for each other.
Oh
when-
yeah. That's.
when we achieve.
I think there's this wonderful. I don't know what the saying exactly is, but I remember when I came across it, I was shocked because it really changed the perspective I had about friendships. I think you can. Okay, sure, you can tell who's your friend based on the bad times for certain, but I don't think enough people give the good times enough attention. In the sense of when you're excelling and when you're succeeding, the way that your true friends attach themselves to you and communicate with you must also be in this manner of success for themselves as well. Like, your win is solely your win, but I appreciate it as our win. Do you get what I mean? Like,
I
it's
get
not like
you.
you come to me with that news that you've succeeded. You come to me with that news. I'm completely happy about you. I'm not talking about myself. I'm not, talking about my goals, my adventures, my what's going on. All I'm talking about is you. But I feel as though we won. And that's another side of it that I've really been considering adding, to my definition of like deep and meaningful friendships.
How do they celebrate with you?
Exactly. How do they celebrate with you?
Yeah.
That is
Jealousy is a hard thing.
Hey, bruh.
And I've dealt with it as well. Especially, like I said, my friends are excellent. They're so great at what they do. And having to look inwards and realize, maybe I am jealous, but I need to change this. Because just because they won doesn't mean I'm a loser.
Exactly, yeah.
So I can look at them, celebrate them, but at the same time, that does not disqualify me from anything.
That's so true.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a sign that you want better for yourself. It's not always that like because they have achieved something, you want to bring them down or whatever. I think you just can see yourself getting to that place as well. You see that potential within you. So I feel like that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Joining them on the podium, if you will, so that we can all be winning. But I feel as though we've covered all of the stuff that we wanted to touch on, sorry. And we've really established how strongly, or at least we've seen how strongly these things do influence or have influenced the identity that you've grown up with. And considering that we've laid the foundation for the pillars of identity, I think now we can migrate into testing. You right, didn't you?
I was tested last year.
Hey.
I was tested last year.
A was in the back pocket, bro.
Hey, yo! First year came in and was like, Kamo, you know who you are? Maybe you don't.
This is I think of all the videos that we've recorded, I think this one is probably going to be the most insightful for our viewers. I think I'm really excited to see what we have to say about that and the discussions that we have. But yeah, we really hope that you guys have enjoyed the video. Is there anything else that we want to add? We said, always. Thank you for watching once again. We love the support. And Buff Babies on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Buff Babies
for life. Always.